All right, folks, it's time for the media show, or not the media show, World Edition. So we're going to see what's going on.
Valdosta Nissan has your new Nissan. Come drive yours away today.
Our flagship all-new 2022 Nissan Pathfinder comes with style and new advanced safety technology. Go on a new adventure with just 1.9% financing right now. 2022 Rogues are dropping in daily, also available with just 1.9% financing right now.
Plus, get free oil changes for life and a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. That's real service after the sale.
The thrill of the drive, only at Valdosta Nissan.
I guess I could use some of this time to get into pleasantries and to talk about the many experiences I've had with you, not only here, but in Europe and other places. What do you have in store for us this summer?
That's a good question.
All right, folks, time for the World Edition. And all along those lines, just a little brief clip of MLK and Belafonte. But definitely a lot going on in the world. And definitely just thought we'd let you know some of the things that are taking place and see what your reactions to the various world events are. And hopefully we'll be joined by others as well shortly as we get ready to talk about what's taking place in the world and all in this space and everything like that. So definitely a lot's taking place in the world, and we're always glad to be reporting on these various issues that are taking place. So definitely, and things along those lines. So we'll definitely be talking about that here on the news and seeing what folks have to say about these various news stories that are out there and all along those lines. So definitely there's a lot going on in that space. And of course, we're always glad to be reporting on that here on Pod TV and seeing what folks have to say about a number of these various news stories and all along those lines. So, like I said, there's a lot taking place, including the various conflicts around the world, and of course, the various things that are taking place in other places as well. So, always good to be reporting on these things here on Pod TV and seeing what folks' reactions are to the various news stories as they come out. Trump will be giving a speech at the UN General Assembly. He's expected to criticize the UN in his first General Assembly speech since 2019. He will address the UN as he jettisons aid and recast the U.S. role with the UN. So he'll be talking about U.S. funding cuts, the Gaza war, and global showdowns, and all along those lines. A drone flyover above Copenhagen airport prompts concerns about what Russia is doing. So drone sighting forces Copenhagen and Oslo airports to close temporarily is definitely a pattern. Von der Leyen warns about after airport drone incidents. So drones shut Copenhagen airport in serious attack, and NATO is weighing tougher actions against Russia and all along those lines. And world leaders are recognizing the Palestinian state in a challenge to the U.S. and Israel. So the UN two-state solution summit and Middle East news is what some people are talking about. So there are 150 plus countries that have recognized Palestine as of 2025. So Palestinian statehood was condemned by Israeli officials, brings a glimmer of hope for some Palestinians. That's what some people are talking about as well. A New Zealand woman convicted of murdering her two children and leaving them in suitcases. So the New Zealand suitcase murder, the mom was found guilty of killing her two children and all along those lines. And Israel forces push deeper into Gaza City with heavy shelling and explosions reported. Israel intensifies the Gaza attack, kills 29 since dawn, and the recognition of the Palestinian state brings no relief for exhausted Gazians. And UN General Assembly 2025, what happens, key moments, and speakers ahead, and 2026 could be one of the most pivotal years in a generation. So definitely there was a statement by Prime Minister Carney on Canada's recognition of the state of Palestine a couple of days ago. And definitely we'll see what Trump has to say as well. And a Unification church leader is arrested on corruption charges in South Korea. So Mooney's church leader arrested over gifts to ex-South Korea First Lady. So the leader of South Korea's Unification Church jailed after court issues a warrant, and all in that space. An Italian workers strike in solidarity with Gaza brings disruption across the country. So pro-Palestinian protesters fight police in Milan. Italian ports are blocked and clashes break out as and Colombian musician B. King and Regio Clown found dead after going missing in Mexico. So this is another case of some celebrities that are found missing and all along those lines. So definitely that's another story as the Colombian rapper who went missing on tour was found dead in Mexico, according to prosecutors, and more young people have been murdered, is what Gastigo Petro, who is slamming the anti-drug policies after the death of Colombian singer in Mexico. And super typhoon blowing by northern Philippines and Taiwan forces evacuations. So Hong Kong and South China are bracing as super typhoon nears. China cancels schools and flights as it braces for super typhoon Ragasa. So, and Hurricane Gabriel is cranking up in the Atlantic. So definitely looks like the seas are stirring up with some storms. And Walt promises U.S. will defend every inch of NATO territory after Russia jets flew into Estonia. So the West and Russia clash at UN after incidences in NATO airspace. And NATO warns Russia of airspace violation, will defend self and deter threats. German and Swedish jets intercept Russian military plane over the Baltic Sea. And Arab Spring activist Alay Abdel Fattah was released after parting from Egypt's Sisi. So definitely Egypt's most famous political prisoner is freed and reunited with his family. So that's something that folks are talking about as well. And Ukraine drones attack Moscow as NATO condemns irresponsible Russian activities. So footage showed cargo planes flying low over Moscow during a reported drone attack. So lots going on in that area as well. And the statehood for Palestinians a right, not a reward, says the UN as it reiterates its two-state solution and recommit to a two-state solution for Israel-Palestine conflict before it's too late, is what Guterres says. So UN chief slams Trump for barring Palestinians from the General Assembly. We must recommit ourselves to the two-state solution before it's too late, is what he said. And Putin's secret plans to hack Moldavia's pivotal election. So Moldavia detains 74 people over an alleged Russian-backed unrest plot around key elections and all along those lines. So that's just some of the things happening in the world and around the world and in that space and everything like that. We're definitely going to get to our folks and see what they've got on their minds as well. And of course, we'll get to some U.S. news stories also. But I'm going to see who I've got with me. I've got Rick Rosner with me here, so I'm going to see what he's got on his mind and all along those lines, and we'll see who else joins us as well. But yeah, lots going on in the world, and we got this UN General Assembly. So the Secret Service dismantles the telecommunication threat near the UN General Assembly in New York. UN Secret Service disrupts telecom network that threatened New York City during the UN General Assembly. So that's something going on. We got terrorism going on in that as well. Of course, we got Trump and autism. So they're saying that Trump has a strong feeling about autism. The issue is personal. And some people are saying that he's wrong on this whole notion.
Yeah, he's freaking wrong. He's freaking wrong. I'm on the spectrum, and he's saying that Tylenol is the cause, or RFK is saying that, which is bullshit. My mom, I don't think she started taking Tylenol until the 1990s, and by then I was already in my 30s. So if Tylenol makes you autistic, it also travels back in time. It's such garbage. There was a study of 2.5 million kids, and uh, and Tylenol use that completely debunk this crap. It's just more like random garbage from like a senseless administration.
It sounds like it and everything like that. Democrats are likely to chip away at a razor-thin House GOP majority in a special election in Arizona. So that's something going on, and it looks like that'll be some interesting news. And like I said yesterday, animal handler killed by a tiger was performing in front of onlookers and family. So he was fatally attacked in front of a family doing a show and everything like that. So that's got to be definitely traumatic and everything. And they're saying the Charlie Kirk Memorial was one of the most heavily fortified events of its kind. I hate my opponent. Trump's remark at Kirk Memorial distills his politics, is what some people are saying as well. And it looks like Silicon Valley hiring in turmoil after that new H-1B visa.
That's more craziness. That if you want to hire foreign talent to come to your company, or maybe they came, maybe they lived in, maybe somebody from India like worked at your company, like interned at your company while they were going to college, and now you want to keep them working at your company, you have to pay the government $100,000 a year to keep them in country, which the U.S. is 4% of the world's population. The other, and we for a century we have recruited the most talented people from the other 96% of the world,
Yeah.
and this sends them home. So it adds $100,000 to the cost of having some talented foreign person at your company, and they don't get the money. They don't get the say. It just goes right to frickin' Trump. It's garbage. It's more insane garbage.
Sounds like more garbage and everything like that. And it looks like the widow of a man killed in Nasha Country Club shooting is sharing memories as a suspect. Maybe they're still trying to find the suspect, but there definitely looks like it was doing a wedding at a country club, and the suspect is facing murder charges. So I guess they're trying to figure out why he did this particular gruesome act and everything along those lines. But definitely, it looks like another case of reasons to have gun control and everything like that. But we'll see.
No, we can't have. I mean, there are 470 million guns for 250 million adult Americans. Nearly 2 guns on average for every American. That cow is out of the freaking barn.
Yeah. And they're saying that Kimmel's suspicion may have motivated the ABC station shooter, according to some prosecutors in that case. A man who fired a gun into ABC affiliate office had a note to do the next scary thing, prosecutors say. So looks like he may have been.
Yeah, but this is all right. So yeah, I mean, but he was a lunatic, is a lunatic, but he's got a long criminal record. It's not like he was just a regular guy who was driven crazy by Kimmel's suspension.
Yes. And I understand Kimmel will be back today and everything, even though the Sinclair group might not be having him back, but I think he comes back on ABC.
That's right. So, all right. So ABC has about 225 affiliates where you can watch Kimmel across the country. Sinclair is about 1/7 of those, 32 affiliates. And they say they're not going to put him back on until there's further negotiation. But Sinclair, they're kind of a bunch of they tell people what to think, this is a ultra conservative chain of stations where they force their local news stations to all run the same editorial written at Sinclair headquarters. And it's all conservative, and it's more, trying to control what people think. Kimmel, he tells roughly an hour worth of monologue jokes every week. Right. But he's not the one who divided the country. Fox News, they run, 14 hours of divisive BS every day. You've got a president saying that he hates his opponents.
Yeah, you definitely got that and everything. If you check Drudge, because I got to do something here in the house and everything.
Yeah, I will. I got it up right now.
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So let's see what else. Let's see how much of Drudge we can get through. Oh, the TikTok thing. That we have a rule in the U.S. now that that TikTok can't be controlled by China. So they're looking to hand over control of TikTok to a board that might include a conservative billionaire, 81-year-old multi-billionaire Larry Ellison, multi-billionaire 94-year-old Fox News owner Rupert Murdoch. So I don't know if you can I'm sure you can turn anything into propaganda. But if this bunch of conservatives under, Trump's approval take over TikTok, then that algorithm's going to change. And, it might get more propaganda-ish. Let's see. Hold on, I'm looking. I'm at Drudge. Drudge used to be pretty dang conservative, but now it is my favorite and only news aggregator because it's pretty centrist. They do, I think, a good job of getting a bunch of the news together for people. Sorry, I'm looking. So the UN General Assembly will begin with a speech by Brazil's leader Lula, who's expected to say mean things about Trump. So every year, sororities across the country make rush videos where the whole sorority dresses up alike and they do a huge choreographed dance. And this is a Wall Street Journal article saying that these are now generating a ton of money for the sororities because people like seeing a bunch of college girls, the one that they have up that goes with the story, wearing slinky clothes, doing slinky moves. The sororities across the country are monetizing it. That Blythe Beardsley and her fellow Kappa Kappa Gammas were looking to reach sorority hopefuls when they put up a choreographed dance in August. And this thing has now gotten 38 million views on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
So,
There's a lot of views on TikTok. I did see some other news about universities where several New England universities are topping the U.S. News and World Report's latest college rankings. And apparently they came out after a tumultuous year for colleges. And Emory is among the top national universities. So Emory is always up there near the top and everything like that. And there were definitely some others that are being rated as well. And Trump was to meet with Democratic Hill leaders over the shutdown. So I guess he's going to try to get them to talk about their health care.
Now, Trump, he canceled the meeting, saying that the Democrats are being unreasonable, which I like because then it's even more on Trump and the Republicans. Because if a shutdown happens and we're, a week away, it's terrible for the country. It costs the government billions of bucks. Millions of people get their paychecks delayed, including, I think, some members of the military. It's bad. And the Republicans will spin it that it's the Democrats' fault, and the Democrats will spin it that it's the Republicans. And when Trump does stuff like this, it makes it easier to put blame where blame should be, which is on the Republicans.
Oh, yeah.
Who are in the majority. They're the ones who, but.
Yep. And it looks like your area of LA is in the news again because the federal judge has ordered 500 health science grants at UCLA restored, and that's rebuffing Trump's suspension. So apparently he's got to put some money back in UCLA in terms of some scientific researches, and teachers and unions fight back as UC campuses were already prepared to go against some of Trump's orders. But apparently the judges are saying you got to give back $500 million in this grant funding and everything like that, because we're trying to study health and everything like that. So, and he's also signed an order, Trump did, targeting Antifa movement. So and he held.
All right. So anytime we talk about Trump has targeted the Antifa movement, you got to remind people that Antifa is not an organization. It is short for anti-fascist.
Right.
So when somebody says they're Antifa, they might be kind of a lunatic, maybe not, but they're saying that they don't belong to a club. They say that they are against fascism in the U.S. Yeah. And people on Twitter like to say that all the Americans fighting in World War II were Antifa. They were fighting fascism in Nazi Germany, in Japan. That was, we were all Antifa back then.
Yeah. Well, apparently this Kamala Harris book is making a lot of waves because she's got some general takeaways from her book about her sprint for the presidency, and even Obama, Pelosi, and other top Democrats resisted instant Harris endorsement, citing need to earn it. And of course, that's been hiking some of the excuses as to why she lost it, everything like that. But it ought to be interesting because apparently some of the Democrats are not too pleased with the publicity that the campaign is getting from this book and everything like that. And like I said, I think next month she's supposed to be here in Durham at one of our venues, the DPAC, and I might try to go to that and hear her speak and see what she's got to say. Who knows? Maybe I'll even try to do an interview for Pod TV.
Which I saw a little of her last night. She was getting interviewed, and the message she has is that Biden was perfectly competent as a president. But the people around him, his campaign team and just his advisors, were terrible at figuring out how to to make it possible for somebody to run effectively for president in 2024. I don't know how much of it was Biden. Probably quite a bit. That Biden kind of hid from the public for years, in that he sounds like me now. He's not a smooth speaker. He's had a stutter, and sometimes his sentences have to stop and start. And you might remember that Fox News would string together a bunch of his verbal hiccups to make it look like his brain was failing. Now, Harris says his brain was fine, and I believe that, but his speech was terrible. And so the White House limited his appearances, when really I think they should have gotten him in front of people a ton and gotten people used to how he sounds and have him say, yeah, I'm freaking old. Yeah, I have a stutter. Yeah, this is the way I talk, but my brain still freaking works. But they didn't. They kind of hid out, and they thought they could hide, and it left her. The name of her book is 107 Days, which is just over 15 weeks, which is how long she was the candidate for president. And so even the title of the book is kind of a complaint, saying that the way Biden's team ran campaign 2024 kind of screwed her over.
Yep. So lots going on in that space. Hey, you're from, or you spent some of your life in Colorado, and I know you're a student of statistics, and then I've got a question for Nick about government since he's here and everything. But I did see that I think it's very rare, even though I do remember one time being near a lightning strike and seeing one. I think I was living
lightning hits all the freaking time. Okay, so
there was a lightning that killed two men who were hunting in southern Colorado.
So no, lightning hits a bunch. You'll get hit by lightning 100 times before you get the Powerball. Lightning hit my parents' house, knocked my mom and her dog on their asses, and killed our freezer. So yeah, with the lightning is not uncommon. Well, I don't know whether it's more common in Colorado, but
apparently they were hunting elk and they were found dead in southern Colorado when they were killed by lightning, these two gentlemen. And
well, it's very, very common in Tampa, where I'm from. It's the lightning capital of the country and almost the world. I think it's the second most. And one of my uncles got hit twice by lightning.
I think
He's
lightning
still
hits like 2
because it
million.
really depends on the bolt and the voltage that goes through and all this other stuff. But we learned when the lightning comes, you get out of the lake place and go into the house. Do not stand around and wait till the lightning hits you, or a side bolt hits you, because it can be really bad. Let's put it that way.
So,
Colorado didn't have that.
I have the numbers here.
Close to Tampa.
Lightning hits 25 to 37 million times a year in the U.S.
Yeah, but look up Tampa, Florida. It's the lightning capital of the U.S. Number 2 in the world, behind someplace in Venezuela. There's some weirdo lake place in Venezuela that gets more lightning every place, and then Tampa should be one of the.
We have some other California news outside of lightning and everything, because apparently the U.S. Attorney says U.S. Attorney DHS says ICE won't comply with California's new mask ban.
It doesn't give me the numbers immediately, but you've got a team named the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Right.
Well, I guess in your Google search engine you put in lightning capital of U.S. or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that might work and everything.
Yeah, that might work.
California is banning law enforcement officers from wearing masks during operations, but apparently ICE isn't in this group of folks, as DHS says they won't comply with California ban, and I think that ICE said they won't comply either, and everything like that. So it'll be interesting to have this place.
Because they're going to keep wearing masks is the deal.
They can.
So California just passed a law or some kind of rule that ICE can't wear masks, which seems to me pretty reasonable. That if you're doing your job in law enforcement, why can't your face be visible?
Why does it have to be visible? I mean, the thing is, and why does the California think that they can override federal government agencies? They can't, So this is just another Newsom idiot rule.
Well,
speaking of Newsom, so
the thing is, I see no problem with that. I'm surprised they don't wear more protective things around their face, especially when you have all those crazies in California that can and the libs keep throwing stuff at you. Come on, man.
It's not protection. Two things can be true at the same time. Gavin Newsom can try and get this passed. There's no way to really enforce it. But it is a good thing for.
No, it's not a good thing.
At least to notify.
You guys are the reason you keep losing elections.
Good. It is good.
I'm a police officer and I want to wear
good for
protective helmets and masks. I'm going to do it.
It is good for law enforcement to at least be acknowledged.
You keep losing elections.
The individual is, especially
keep going into crazy talk.
Because the thing is, a masked individual can dress as a officer of the law and abduct people, which has happened.
Sure, right. Yeah, and they can spray fairy dust over people.
Some experience in this. So, like, I worked in dozens of bars I was a bouncer back when I was a bigger person, and some of the bars I worked in had huge bounce staffs, and you get a bunch of big guys together, and sometimes they go bad. They start like knocking people around for no reason and doing a bunch of other stuff. And you see this with cops, that sometimes cops egg each other on to do bad behavior, and you facilitate it when you remove visibility. You fight, even when you make cops wear body cams, which a lot of them hate. Then you give cops accountability. When you let cops wear masks, that works in the opposite direction.
You cannot be serious. Your arguments are so specious. It's like almost ridiculous. The thing is, as you well know,
cops that sometimes cops act like thugs. Yeah,
of course.
And wearing masks, so
cops
can't identify.
So what? I mean, the thing is, sometimes doesn't necessarily mean all the time. And the thing is, If somebody wants to protect themselves, they absolutely have the right to do
What
it.
protection?
You
So
know?
when you say protect, you mean protect from being recognized?
Oh
So,
yeah, because the thing is, what happens is that you have an element in your country where you have crazies, and we saw that we saw that with Charlie Kirk. See with a lot of people that they'll target their houses and they'll target these people, their families. So if they want to wear a mask, they should absolutely have the right to do so. And so the thing is, the logic behind it was crystal clear. Now, it could also be used for protection.
Well, if it's
I
crystal,
mean, why would you argue against? Why are you trying to protect the criminals? Making a big wild assumption, Rick, that the police officers are going to turn into criminals. I don't get it.
Because
in other words, you're saying, hey, let's go protect the criminals because we're going to make a wild assumption that the police officers are.
Hold on. No. So I've lived in LA for 30 years,
Sure.
and we've had police gangs form numerous times. There's a whole history of policing in Los Angeles where the cops go bad. There have been movies made based on truth. There have been, LA has a long. We had a.
So does New York, but they have 100,000 people. Not all are going to be dead.
We had a consent decree where the feds came in to do oversight on LA cops because LA cops.
Okay. Have you guys looked at the criminals in California? The thing is, you focus on cops like they're the criminals.
Okay, but the criminals, we don't pay the criminals to crime. We pay the cops to protect.
And what you're telling me, Rick, there's no riots in California. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have riots.
Hold on. We're going off on a tangent that makes
you guys are just
Nick.
You guys are loony when it comes to law enforcement.
Nick, your argument is very, very poor.
No wonder why at this rate you will lose the midterms too, by the way, Toby. I thought you guys recapture the midterms because you become reasonable, but apparently not. You might lose the midterms again.
Explain why if you just listen. Because you're bringing up all these random things and trying to pigeonhole and take it down a rabbit hole. Two things can be true. Okay? It can be true what Gavin Newsom did and what he's doing is actually honorable and what should happen. It also can be true that crime happens. It happens. So you actually saying riots and all this other stuff, yeah, it happens. But there's no reason for a masked individual to come in and take people. No reason. Because one, again, as we already know, you want to sit here, oh, well, do riots happen? Well, do people get abducted from people wearing masks? Yes. So your argument is moot. It is dumb.
You're missing the
Wait. Your argument is dumb.
You're really missing the point. You're really missing the boat, buddy. The boat sailed away, and the liberals are stuck on the island.
You're going down this gaslighting rabbit hole.
You're sitting on an island of stupidity, and that's the reason you lost the election.
You're not going to win.
All you had to be is a little bit more reasonable.
You're not going to win
You're
this
following
argument
AOC too much.
You're not going to win this argument this way.
And the center will win you the election. But if your guys want to stay on the left side, you're going to lose again.
In LA,
and Trump will have his way.
Are there corrupt police that come about?
The people that elected Trump, Jacoby, were you. You and Rick elected.
Is there a possibility of corrupt police? Yes, that happens. But the point is, at least they're held accountable, and the criminals are held accountable. And what Rick is talking about is that a lot of times, and you know this as a lawyer, the police actually get off, and especially people who are masked aren't found. So again, it's okay to unmask people and let them know, hey, I'm part of law enforcement and I'm here to do my job. That's it.
So I want to talk about the difference.
I'm totally with the right on this one. If I'm working for ICE, which
you're always with the right. This is not a surprise.
The right is right this time, and you guys are wrong again.
You're not making it. You're an argument.
the election
A
because you
coherent
don't listen
argument
to
for it.
reason. You listen to your talking point liberal people, whoever the heck is out
You
there.
haven't made an argument. You're just saying
NBC.
words.
Okay, here's the deal, Jacoby. You're working for ICE. We decided to hire for you ICE, and you agreed to work for them because you actually believe in law enforcement for the first time in your life. Okay, now the thing is, you realize that there are people that don't believe in law enforcement, and you become a target. So the option is you can wear a mask, so you're not a target, or you cannot wear a mask.
Let's play your.
And you're saying I have no problem not wearing a mask.
Let me get a freaking word in. Let me get a.
You don't have to be good
Hey,
to figure this out.
Doctors get doxxed. Should doctors
I can't believe you guys can't figure this
wear
out.
masks? Judges actually get doxxed by the president, the man that you support. Should judges wear masks? You, as a lawyer, lawyers get doxxed.
Judges do better
Lawyers
than that.
get doxxed. Should
Hey,
lawyers wear
judges
masks?
do better than that.
Should
Their courtrooms are
everybody in the world
secure.
wear a mask
Okay.
because of your piss
And
poor
you know
argument?
what? The judges that have issues right now, in case you haven't followed it, the Supreme Court and other courts want to have protection because of
Let me get a
this
word
race.
in.
That's
Frickin-
your solution.
You guys,
Make them wear masks.
let me get a freaking word in. So, all right, the job of most cops is to protect public safety. ICE's job is somewhat different, where their job is to pull people off the street. And all right, I guess if you want to have them wear masks, fine. But they also, every ICE officer should have a body cam on at all times. Do they wear body cams? I don't think so, right?
They don't.
They don't. So you have to have some kind of accountability. So yeah, I would trade them. Yeah, okay, continue to wear your mask, but you wear a body cam because we hear all sorts of stories about ICE knocking people around. Now, if you compare New York City cops, pedestrian cops. Now, New York City cops aren't 100% great, but they're pretty good. And you can walk up to them and you can talk to them and it doesn't feel weird. They're people on the street walking their beats, and they're, you know, the vibe is less scary, compared to LA cops, where you don't want them showing up in their police cars. There's
we have to take
the deal is that in New York City, the cops are on the street. They're people. You can talk to them. They're not on alert. They are just they're
thing is, Rick, you live in LA.
Yeah.
Things like that are going to be very sensitive to you dealing with the cops in LA.
Yeah.
You're not living in New York. The same person living in New York would say the same thing about the cops there and say great things about LA. So
I doubt it, because
around that,
New York City has 4 times the number of cops per capita as LA.
And the same argument that you just same description of how you think cops in LA you can't.
But I have lived in New York City at a tough time for New York City.
What I'm saying is my sister-in-law is an LAPD. So
Okay.
I know that cops in LA you can talk to.
Okay.
But you're saying no.
Well, I'm saying that it's tougher. It's weirder. There are a couple of reasons. One, cops in LA are mostly working out of their squad cars. They're not walking beats.
But that happens in other places. What I'm just trying to express and share with you is that the idea that, in my area, my cops are hard to talk to. It's tough for me to talk to my cops in my area. But when I go outside of my area, I can talk to cops outside of my area.
All right. I guess what I'm saying is
that we have.
What I'm saying, it goes back to the masks. That if it's harder to talk, it's harder to it's hard. It's easier to be intimidated by a law enforcement officer in a mask.
Yes,
It's easier to be intimidated.
Problems.
Well, then that's a good thing.
Actually, do not.
I don't see any problem with it.
There is no.
Hey, look, if you weren't out there committing nefarious crimes, you wouldn't be scared of the cops.
Outside of that, you're not.
Lord.
There's no reason for you to wear a mask.
Yeah, oh, absolutely there is, because of the crazies out there, Toby.
Again,
You know?
we've already established,
And we've already established you're 100% wrong on that issue because you don't know what you're talking
actually
about.
doxing judges.
Okay.
So your
And so
argument
if you're an
that
ICE
we should
official
have our
and you want to
judges
wear a
masked.
mask, go ahead and wear a mask.
Should judges be masked?
You know, we're
Should
not
judges be
talking about
masked?
judges. We are talking about
Nick,
ICE. People are
we're
in the
talking
front
about
line.
your piss poor argument.
Okay. No,
Should
you don't
judges
have
be
an
masked?
argument, counselor. Your argument has been dismissed summarily.
No, it has not been dismissed because we're
Dismissed-
talking about your
dismissed
argument. Your
summarily
argument
with
is about
prejudice, counselor,
masks.
a
Your
long
argument
time
is
ago.
that people are being attacked
But
because
continue
they're not wearing
arguing.
masks and they're doing their job. That is your argument. Your argument isn't LAPD or ICE.
No,
or
it's
whatever.
ICE.
Your
In other
argument
words,
is that
okay.
person X is doing their job, and because they're afraid, they need to wear masks.
Absolutely.
So your
Okay.
your argument is about people being attacked and needing masks. So should judges wear masks?
We're not talking about judges. We are
talking about your argument.
We are talking
Your
about
argument
Hold
is not
on.
listening because you're trying to
Nick and Jacoby, hold on a second. Nick and Jacoby, hold on a second. The last time that judges and law enforcement were
they have the
regularly
right to
masked.
wear a
Hold on a
mask.
second. Nick,
You guys
the
are
last
already-
time law enforcement was regularly masked in terms of
The
history
reason why you're
was
so
the time
anti-law
of like
enforcement is
slavery
you don't
and
is you want to
like
break the law. That's all.
We're pointing
If
out
you drive by the law and
we have
act
distilled
right,
your
you don't have a
argument
problem.
down to your
You
essential
want to support the criminals.
is
Good,
that
good for you.
person X doing his job, his or her
Mhm.
job, is being attacked. Person X needs a mask for protection.
Yeah.
We never said what that job was. You've already agreed and established. Now I'm putting a job on there, an occupation on there, asking you a question, and you're saying I can't answer that.
No,
So
you're doing the wrong. Hey, do medical doctors wear
I
masks?
am sorry.
I mean, you're so
you lost
left
the
field.
argument.
Should medical professionals wear masks? Do they? The answer is yes, they
your
do.
argument,
Why do
if they
medical
are being
professionals
attacked,
wear masks?
according
Stop
to
spreading
your argument
germs.
that you have established,
Do police
outside of
officers
the
get
office,
spit on?
they should
Yes,
wear
they
masks
do.
all
Do
the
police officers wear a mask? Yes, they can. Do they have the right to do it?
You're
Yes,
trying
they
to make
do.
a connection
Does the
between
state of California have the right to tell them what to do when they're federal
to
employees?
actually do a
No, they
position
don't.
is
Your
not
arguments are
the same
dismissed.
as, hey, I want a mask
You have
because
something else to discuss.
that is poor. Nick, you're better than this.
All right, we should move on to
I got
something
another
else.
issue for y'all and everything because apparently the Trump administration has canceled, and we know that there's a lot of issues around hunger, but they've canceled the annual hunger report after enacting historic cuts to the nation's safety net. So they've canceled survey tracking how many Americans can get enough food, and they're doing other things in terms of end of household food security reports and everything like that. So what is our thoughts about this? Because they also put food researchers on leave. So apparently a lot of the food researchers won't be working for the government because we don't need to have food research according to Trump and everything like that. So what is our thoughts about this annual hunger report being canceled and this notion of food researchers being put on leave?
So my thought about this and a bunch of other stuff is a couple days ago was Mark Trump's 8-month anniversary since he became president. We got another 40 months to go. So we're only 1/6 of the way through Trump, and we got a lot more breaking of government to come.
Yeah, but you guys voted for him. So and what you didn't vote for, you had such insane positions that people couldn't vote for your candidate. So the liberals elected Trump. I have no sympathy for the liberals at all because you will not sustain a credible position. You will not bring a credible candidate for it. So because of lack of credibility, you got Donald. Good
give me 2 insane positions from the Democrats.
Well, we just had one of them, which was Jacoby saying they can't wear a mask. But I mean, you could almost ask Jacoby to say what he thinks, and you'll find out a lot of incredible.
Crazy. It wasn't a Democratic platform issue.
So let me answer your question, Mark, because it seems as if Nick wants to avoid it and come up with some bogus answer again. So just to answer your question, Mark, the reason why he's cutting that actual report is the reason why he's asking for businesses to quit their reports at particular times as well. Because the economy is struggling so bad, and these businesses are actually cutting jobs and cutting all this stuff, he doesn't want them to do their reports because that messes with the stock market. He's actually cut funding for these SNAP benefits and other social safety net programs, which actually feed these individuals. So he doesn't want to report on the fact of the jump in those in people without food out there. And we're at the end of the year coming up, and these reports are starting to pile up. So his economy looks bad. His reports, his actual food insecurity situation looks even worse. So therefore, he's cutting the reporting around these situations so you can't have bad news. So in other words, all you're going to get is Trump trying to propagate or push out propaganda saying, hey, I'm doing such a great job. I passed all this stuff. I'm the best in the world.
Yeah,
but then you don't have the report showing how many people, how much food, how many people are now struggling without food.
It gets even worse because I just saw that apparently the head of the Pentagon has, and I just saw this story, is putting out a demand for the press to sign a pledge restricting their own reporting on the Pentagon and on think tanks and stuff like that. So he wants them to basically say that they won't cover stuff and everything like that. And the news outlets are preparing to fight against the Pentagon's demand for the press to sign a pledge restricting their own reporting. So this whole thing, because I thought that was supposed to be the fourth estate, the press and everything like that, which is supposed to be a control against some of the bad things that can go on in government and some of the other two estates and everything. So I guess they want the press to just kind of like bow down.
Yep, they do. This is an authoritarian play. This is straight out the playbook. You control the schools, you control the media, you control all the banks, you control what goes on and off TV. Yeah, you actually tell people what they're supposed to like and what they dislike.
There was a lot of acquiescence by law firms, by media companies in the first 6 months of Trump, with the hope being that he would go this far and no more. But we're finding out that that's not the case, that when he got up at Charlie Kirk's memorial and said he hates his opponents, he's not.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, you guys created him. You know, when you decided, hey, look, we're going to take the Justice Department and weaponize it against Donald, years before he ran for president. What did you expect to be a kind person coming back? You know, like I said, the liberals created Donald. You guys elected him because you're so unreasonable that no one wants to vote for your candidate. And you refuse.
We're going to play your game again.
And so the thing is, I don't have any sympathy.
I'm not a lawyer. You're a lawyer. And your argument is unsound and unfounded.
Every unreasonable position you guys want to take and then ram it down central people's throat.
Let's say, hold on.
So this is your result.
Wait.
I hope you enjoy it.
Again. Let's say that, oh my goodness, the Justice Department was weaponized against Trump.
Yeah.
Are you now saying that's okay? Are you saying that's a good thing?
No.
Are you saying that, okay, we should weaponize the Justice Department?
No.
Then what is your argument?
Well, what I'm saying, Jacoby,
you're saying absolutely nothing.
No. What I'm saying is that prior to him running for president,
I don't care about prior. Are you saying now that the Justice Department?
I can't say anything because you're talking all the time. Why don't you just make it the Jacoby show? It's not a dialogue; it's a monologue.
Is weaponized.
So what I think doesn't count. It's what you think.
I'm asking you a simple question.
And I'm just saying that what you're doing continually will lose the election. And normally you should win the midterms. Given the hardcore left position, there's a great chance
the hardcore left.
You will lose the midterms also, and you'll have 4 years of this.
Answer the question, Nick.
This is what you wanted.
Answer the question. Is it a good thing that the Justice Department is weaponized?
He's going to win.
Is it a good thing that the Justice Department is weaponized?
I got a question for Rick and everything, and it actually involves Trump and everything like that. But just really quickly, Because apparently yesterday a man was charged with attacking a helicopter, one of Trump's helicopters, but he was charged with attacking it because he aimed a laser pointer at it. So I'm trying to figure out, are they thinking that he's going to try to take it down with this laser pointer?
No, if you shine a laser in
blinds
the
the
pilot's
Yeah.
eyes, you
Right.
Go ahead,
interfere
Rick.
with their ability to fly the craft.
Right.
It's against the law to shoot lasers at
Or
aircraft.
point lasers at aircrafts or that. Yeah. So again, you have somebody who's violating the law. I mean, and I don't know why you guys have a problem with prosecuting people like that who violate the law.
I don't have a problem
problem
with
with that?
prosecuting guys who shoot
Okay, good.
lasers at
Well, at least
planes.
we're on the same page there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
I
figure out.
like to find middle ground. We're on the same page. The guy who does that should be prosecuted. Hey, Steve has arrived. Maybe he's paid us for his 100,000 for his HB1 visa.
Yeah,
for his
sorry, man.
family.
I'm getting ready. I'm going on WPTF today. I'm getting a lot of calls from press. The News and Observer called me because I've written extensively on this issue. And I tried to get here on time, but I got stuck on a crisis. I'm still kind of on sabbatical at work, but I'm still they're subsidizing me to be a commissioner. So I still got to report to work every now and then. But I'll end with this. I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of buzz about it, but I want to, one of the points I'm going to make today on the radio is that of the big tech, Microsoft, IBM, and Google, all three CEOs were H-1Bs who came in to go to the United States of America for college. Satya Nadella, the chairman and CEO of Microsoft, Sundar Pichai, the chairman and CEO of Google, and Arvind Krishna, the CEO and chairman of IBM. And let's not forget Adobe, which Shankar Narayan. So the bottom line is that the H-1B system has worked by bringing in the brightest. And I can tell you, those CEOs are doing a remarkable job. I remember John Chambers, former CEO of Cisco, telling me that Satya Nadella is one of the best CEOs in the history of tech. So I think the system needs to be reformed, but I don't necessarily think a $100,000 fee is going to do anything to create local jobs when you've got these CEOs. So I say bring in the best. If they climb up the ladder and they're contributing, yeah, maybe there is some intent of pumping money locally in the economy. We don't want to overdo H-1Bs. I think there's also exaggeration. It's not affecting the people that are here. It's only new people in the pipeline. But I still think the benchmark should be lower because there's still labor shortages, we particularly in AI data science. So I think rather than going to Canada or other countries, these immigrants should be allowed to stay in America because they're going to start companies. And we forget, Amazon, Google, Nordstrom's, Best Buy, Colgate, Yahoo. These were all founded by immigrants, and Tesla. So I mean, and some of them were H-1Bs.
Isn't
So that's my
I can't
that's my
remember.
Steve Rapp take on it.
Isn't Nvidia as well?
Yeah. So I think the system in the past has been abused. I'm trying to document that. So I think it is wrong. I know we got to go, guys. It is wrong to bring in an H-1B and pay them less money than you were an American who went through the university system. But I think that there are laws now that there has to be a market rate that you pay, that you can't come in. Now, I know that there has been abuse in the past, or that you can't just bring in a bunch of H-1Bs because you don't want to hire local talent. So maybe that's one thing the president's trying to do. But I think there's a better way of doing it.
Wait. I looked it up. There are fewer than 750,000 H-1B visa holders in the U.S. That's less than one person in 400 among all Americans. So it's not like they're a huge problem sucking up all the jobs.
Yep,
Say that statistic again, Rick.
730,000 H-1B visa holders in the U.S.
Yeah, and those could be 730,000 Americans as opposed to foreign workers. That's the counter argument. So you got to look at both sides of this equation. In other words, do you want to support people from coming in to the United States, or do you want to support homegrown talent? There's two arguments to this. It's not as clear as Steve or anyone makes it out to be. And so they became CEOs. Well, that means those are CEOs that could have been homegrown talent that isn't a CEO pulling down the huge disgusting pay that they don't deserve.
Okay.
And the thing is, there are two sides to this
He rises
story.
to the top. Satya Nadella, I mean, come on.
You
I'm not
know,
saying
don't
it's not
tell
a
me he's
wider
the only
Indian thing.
talent in the world. Nadella is not the
Explain something
only
real quick. Let me
talented
explain something real
CEO
quick.
in the
Okay, Nick,
world.
you're making another
You
poor
know,
argument.
come on.
You're making the argument that
And talent doesn't necessarily mean you drove
hold
the
on.
stock
Let me
market up.
explain
Give
what
me
you're
a
saying.
break.
You're
You know?
saying that individuals.
I'm saying that you're not allowing for homegrown talent.
Okay, Nick.
When you have
just
750,000 people, they're
just to
being
point out,
imported
your
that
argument
should
is
probably
the
be
same
here.
backwards argument
for jobs.
where that country bumpkin says, "Hey, they're taking all
Well,
our
I think so. They're from America. They're a country bumpkin.
So what I'm trying to explain to you, what I think Steve is actually pointing out, as well as others, there are a ton of people that are talented across the globe. We are not the only place where
And
talent
there's
grows.
tons of talented people
Hold
in the
on,
U.S.
hold on, Nick. We are not the only place where talented people live and talented people grow. If we want to attract the most talented people to come to the U.S., start businesses, and create things, what he's doing is turning that talent away. And you know who's grabbing that talent? Other countries like China, who's actually, Dr. Sharif pointed out. So you have these other talented individuals that are out there that we are alienating because we're saying, oh, well, somebody's going to be able to create Google, the same competitor to Google at some point, because that's why we don't want any brown people here. That's not the way to live. And that's what other countries are saying, is that actually Dr. Sharif, that's what he pointed out yesterday, is that other countries are.
I think a great point. That's a great way for me to leave. I'll be back tomorrow, but I think that's a great point to make. Is that
but yeah, just remember, there's always two sides to every story. There's never.
I understand that. I understand. There's a reason driving this policy. I'm just saying there's a better way of going about it. That's all.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not saying it's the best side. I'm just saying there is another side to this argument. It's not all one side.
No, we have to stop playing the two sides thing.
Why?
Same thing with the reason why we cannot
you
play
need to go to law
the
school
thing is if we say
you'll see that that's not
there
true.
are particular things that cannot be two-sided. Racism can't be two-sided. What you're trying to do is this argument of isolationism, of nationalism, which is another form of racism and bigotry towards the other individuals across the globe. So we cannot do the two-sidesism thing. Okay.
So then we can do one side and your side's wrong. I mean, I can take the position that your side is completely wrong. If I'm paying my taxes and my family is here paying taxes to support U.S. citizens to have opportunities for job growth, I do not want you to import people from India or from China or from anywhere else to take the top positions in the United States,
this question,
or the bottom positions, or frankly, any position. And that's my argument. And you're wrong. And that's just the way it is. Okay, so we can take a one-sided argument. I can be one-sided.
Right, you guys keep doing it. I gotta go.
Nick, I just want to ask you.
We gotta go. I'll be more than happy to debate this with you on a later date.